fought gods, monsters, devils, but this
is the end. You are nothing, Venom. Just a child of my abyss. I am not your child. I am your end.
Venom has always existed as one of Marvel's most unpredictable figures, straddling the line between antihero and monster, friend and foe, savior and destroyer. Now the cinematic world expands into something darker, bigger, and far more cosmic with the continuation of Eddie Brock's story. Venom 4. King in Black arrives as a culmination of every thread woven from the very first film. Where the first was a chaotic dive into symbiote lore, and the second heightened the stakes with carnage, and the third explored multiversal threads connecting Eddie Brock to Spider-Man, this fourth installment aims to raise everything to the highest level, pushing the boundaries of what an anti-hero story could look like. The atmosphere of this project feels heavier, more mature, leaning into cosmic horror and high-stakes superhero battles that blur the line between heroism and annihilation. It is not just another confrontation with a rogue symbiote, but the arrival of something ancient, something from the void, something that has been whispered in symbiote mythology but never fully visualized on screen until now. The King in Black himself, Null. The cast once again anchors the film with Tom Hardy returning as Eddie Brock, the troubled journalist who shares his body and mind with the alien symbiote Venom. Hardy's performance has been the heart of the series, balancing humor, mania, and raw intensity in a way that has made Eddie and Venom's banter iconic. This time, his character faces a challenge not only on the battlefield but within himself, as Eddie must grapple with the idea of whether he is strong enough to host a being that may not only consume him, but also force him to betray everything he once fought for. Alongside Hardy, Tom Holland joins the narrative in a significant capacity, marking the long-awaited collision of Venom and Spider-Man in a story that demands both their worlds. Holland's Peter Parker finds himself reluctantly pulled into Eddie's crisis when the threat proves too big for one man, no matter how bonded he may be to a symbiote. Together, their uneasy alliance becomes one of the driving forces of the film, with both characters reflecting opposite sides of responsibility, guilt, and identity. Supporting them are Michelle Williams reprising her role as Anne Weying, who has her own connection to the symbiotes as she Venom, and Woody Harrelson in flashback fragments tied to the lingering curse of carnage. Rumors of additional casting swirl around possible cosmic allies and enemies, with actors stepping into roles that expand the mythology, warriors who once battled the King in Black across galaxies, and mortals chosen as reluctant defenders of Earth in its darkest hour. The plot unfurls like a nightmare slowly seeping into reality. Eddie Brock has tried to make peace with his dual life, existing in the shadows with Venom as a reluctant protector of the innocent. But something in the symbiote hive mind awakens, something buried for millennia that begins to send shockwaves of terror across every bonded creature. The skies blacken, the stars vanish, and a god older than the universe stirs. Null, the originator of the symbiotes, emerges from the abyss of space, wielding darkness as a weapon, seeking not merely conquest but complete annihilation. He does not want to rule. He wants to smother all light, extinguish all gods, and drown existence in endless night. His army of symbiote dragons descends on Earth, crashing into cities with cataclysmic destruction. Nations crumble, heroes scatter, and Eddie realizes that Venom is not just a parasite or partner, but a fragment of this god. The conflict becomes deeply personal. If Eddie falls, Venom could be reclaimed by his creator, giving Null a weapon more dangerous than his legions. Spider-Man's entrance occurs in the chaos. New York becomes ground zero for the invasion, and Peter Parker sees firsthand how fragile humanity is against a cosmic war. His instincts tell him to fight, but he knows this is not his battle alone. When he crosses paths with Eddie, their old tensions resurface, but the overwhelming destruction forces them into uneasy cooperation. Their dynamic becomes a central thread. The bright, guilt-driven hero who fights to protect everyone, and the dark, reckless anti-hero who only wants to survive and protect a chosen few. As Null's presence spreads, Earth itself begins to rot under his influence. Shadows coil around landmarks, oceans boil with alien corruption, and the symbiote hive expands like a living infection. Heroes across the globe fall one by one, some corrupted and turned into servants of Null, others crushed in the sheer devastation. The trailer teases glimpses of familiar faces succumbing to darkness, with shocking images of once beloved characters shrouded in black symbiote armor under the god's command. Every frame heightens the sense that this is not a fight for territory. It is a fight for the soul of reality itself. The tone grows even darker as Eddie is confronted with visions of what it means to bond with Venom. The symbiote reveals truths it had hidden, that it was born in shadow, that it has always been a child of Null, and that its loyalty to Eddie may falter if its master demands obedience. The central emotional conflict becomes Eddie's desperate attempt to prove that his bond with Venom is unique, stronger than Null's dominion. This forces Eddie and Venom into a relationship more strained than ever, as mistrust and fear threaten to sever them when unity is the only chance of survival. The battles shown throughout are enormous, streets swallowed in blackened tendrils, skyscrapers ripped apart by dragon symbiotes, Spider-Man swinging through collapsing bridges while venomous beasts pursue him, Eddie transforming in brutal fashion to tear through Null's army. Each sequence highlights the fusion of horror and superhero spectacle, creating a style that feels more like apocalyptic science fiction than a standard Marvel showdown. The trailer builds intensity by layering iconic visuals with haunting sound design. A voiceover of Eddie, whispering that he's coming, sets the tone before images of blackened skis swallow the horizon. Lightning cracks red across a city skyline, symbiote dragons descend in swarms, and Spider-Man's mask reflects the shadow of Null looming like a giant. Venom roars into the camera with fangs bared, not as a hero, but as a desperate warrior. Intercut are flashes of Anne Weying consumed by the struggle, soldiers firing helplessly at alien creatures, and Eddie collapsing to his knees as Venom's voice trembles for the first time in fear. The pace quickens, strings and drums hammering while flashes of battles surge, Spider-Man unleashing every ounce of agility, Venom tearing through hordes, and the reveal of Null himself stepping from a throne of shadow, his armor glistening black with veins of crimson energy. His presence radiates terror, a god who sees all as prey. The trailer closes with Eddie's voice, broken and raw, saying, "We're not enough," followed by Venom growling, "Then we make ourselves more," as the screen cuts to black with the title Venom 4, King in black blazing across. The release of the film is positioned as one of the most anticipated of 2025, targeted for a fall debut that aligns with the dark, horror-tinged themes of the narrative. Positioned in the cinematic landscape as both a continuation of Sony's Venom universe and a bridge into larger Marvel storylines, it promises not just spectacle, but an emotional exploration of fear, identity, and survival. The trailers and promotional material emphasize the scale of the story, selling it as more than just another superhero entry, but as a saga of gods and monsters that will leave the world changed forever. For audiences who have followed Eddie's journey from the streets of San Francisco to the cosmic horizon, this film represents the climax of his struggle, the ultimate confrontation with the origins of his bond, and the most dangerous enemy ever conceived for him and Spider-Man to face together. As the final beats of the promotional vision resound, Venom 4, King in Black stands revealed not only as a film of action, but as one of dread and awe. It is the moment where everything converges: Eddie Brock's bond with Venom, Spider-Man's responsibility to a doomed world, and the arrival of a god whose hunger is absolute. The narrative promises heartbreak and triumph, horror and heroism, all woven together into a cinematic event that will test not just the characters, but the audiences watching. When the credits eventually roll, viewers are expected to leave with the weight of a saga that pushed Eddie Brock and Venom into their ultimate destiny, reshaping what it means to be a hero in a world where gods of darkness rise. Venom 4, King in Black, 2025, is not simply a sequel. It is the culmination of everything that came before, a dark legend brought to life on the biggest stage, and a story that ensures Venom's legacy will echo across the Marvel universe for years to come.